yes, 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 yes. How fantastic is that? Oh, shush! I know, I took you off. Green eggs and ham, that's what we're making today. But it's really, if you don't want to use the ham is just so I could Dr. Seuss the heck out of this thing. Welcome to Instagram Live, AZ Cooks. I am Andrew Zimmern, welcome. He of the most untamed beard in North America. Oh, I should turn my phone off, shouldn't I? Welcome. Has everybody else had the kind of hectic day that we've had around here? Sometimes things are made hectic by bad news, sometimes by good news. I'm going to drown my feelings in a green shakshouka, which is essentially what this is. Who doesn't love green eggs and ham, right? It's one of the classic books of all time. I don't call it a children's book. I happen to think that the lessons that Theodore Geisel, best known as Dr. Seuss, the lessons that he was trying to preach are ones that we can always learn from. And Oh, the Places We Go is a book that I think is as timeless for 90-year-olds as 9-year-olds. But I forget when it was. I mean, it was a gazillion years ago. I was one of the people who was asked in some magazine thing, submit us a recipe based on your favorite book. And I did a green egg and ham recipe. And I got it out and I tweaked it for you guys today because it's so good. And now that it's winter time, I don't know why. In the summer, I don't want to do breakfast for dinner. But in the wintertime, I want to do pancakes and bacon for breakfast. I want to do waffles. I want to do green eggs and ham in a salad. And so I thought it would be fun if we did that together. And here you can see this amazing herb, pepper, and tomatillo sauce that is, yes, shush, that is surrounded or surrounding our poached eggs, our feta cheese, and of course I like to serve this portioned in a bowl on top of pan-seared slices of country ham and toast, and you have an incredible meal. But you can delete the toast if you don't want those glutens and carbs. You can delete the ham if you are vegan but eat eggs, vegetarian but eat eggs. It really is super simple. I want to show you how we build this incredible dish. First and foremost, I want to add a little olive oil and butter to my pan. I'm going to get the heat up. I'm basically going to make this sauce out of all things green with some shallots and garlic, sweat it in there, and then I'm going to pulse it here. Now, if you want to mince everything super fine, you can. I just find it easier to take things like fresh tomatillos. By the way, you can drop these in warm water and these peel right off. This one is extremely easy. This is one of the larger members of the gooseberry family. It's got, you see that little bit of dirt that's in there? And for anyone who's worked with this delicious vegetable before, although is it technically a fruit too? Probably. It's got this sticky surface to it. So I drop them all in a bowl of warm water. It makes them really easy to peel and cleans them. I like to use all of the seed of my Serrano chili because the seeds and the interior of the Serrano chili is very lemony. On other peppers, they tend to be woody and not have flavor, but Serranos have a lot of flavor. So I have my minced Serrano here. And this milder chili, it's warm. It's not spicy, it's just warm, is a poblano. Most people stuff these or have eaten them stuffed in a chili relleno of some kind. But what I like to do is I like to just roast it over an open flame until it's charred. And then I peel them and cut it into pieces. I like everything cut into pieces so that my blender doesn't have to work that hard. But I can show you in a couple of minutes. You're just going to blacken that on both sides. First thing that I want to do is add my shallots and my garlic. Once my garlic starts to color up, that is when I am going to start to add my other ingredients. What does that do? It stops the garlic from browning. Because the minute I introduce anything that has moisture in it, because remember, you can't brown in the presence of moisture, then we are going to See the garlic stop turning color. But I want that garlic flavor to come out into my fats. I want my shallots to sweat because I want cooked shallot flavor to be in this blender, not raw shallot flavor that cooks in the oven. And there is a difference, right? So we're just gonna let that sit there. I kind of stuck, little chef's trick, I stuck the garlic in the area that had the butter. Why is the butter not sizzling while the oil is? Because the butter has water in it that has to evaporate, right? The butter is only 80, well, it's American butter, so it's only 81, 82% fat max. The rest are solids and water, right? So that has to sort of burn off before it'll start sizzling over there. So it's actually a safer place. I'm gonna give this a little stir now because I can see that my shallots are almost done sweating. I don't want to add a brown color to this. I just want to sweat those aromatics. Oh my God, shallots and garlic just smells so, so, so good. And let's just add everything. I'm going to add my peppers, my dry spices, oregano, cumin, ground coriander, and of course, one of my favorite ingredients in the whole world. Where is my bag? Matt, you want to grab me the magic spice mixture? Everyone is so used to seeing this in red format, but here is za'atar that's green. Fantastic with grilling chicken and fish. It's an incredible spice blend. Thyme, sesame, sunflower oil, sumac, lots of different delicious things. But za'atar comes in a reddish brown, but it also comes in a green version. So of course, and also very popular in certain countries above others, very popular in Syria, for example, country that I had the privilege of visiting many years ago on a couple of occasions. And once we get that out in there, I'm going to add my wine. It's just a small amount. I think it's a ½ cup in the recipe. It's going to evaporate fairly fast, but it's going to give some real acidic balance to this because we're going to add herbs and peppers, which I know everyone, oh, those have a little spice to them. Peppers are mostly sweet. And as citric as the tomatillo is, right? It has a wonderful tang to it. When you cook it, it becomes sweeter. So I want to make sure with the wine we have a little bit of another bedrock of acidity and salinity there. Oh, this is coming along beautifully. Let that keep roasting because I want to show you how to deal with that. We're going to saute our ham while our eggs are cooking in the oven. So you don't have to worry about that. All we want to do is get this evaporated. I don't want it to be completely devoid of liquid, but I want it to be what we call in the cooking business dry, which doesn't mean that we start scorching our herbs again. Right now, the alcohol that's in the wine is doing its job of pulling all the flavors out of the shallot, the garlic, and the 4 dried spices that we put in there, right? So this is a super, super way to get that flavor out into that liquid. Because the alcohol's presence in there, it's doing that. If we evaporate it completely, we lose the benefit. So we want to make it dry, which means there's still a tablespoon or 2 of liquid in there. And that won't evaporate because we're going to throw in all these goodies in there, cook them, blend them. It's going to go hot back into our pan with our eggs, room temperature, so your eggs start cooking right away, and into a 400-degree oven. And this is almost done. Does anybody have a question or a comment, anything that somebody wants to ask while we have a moment?
People are wondering if that's a new apron.
Oh gosh, yeah, I did a couple of Facebook Lives for Headley and Bennett while Ellen was on quasi-maternity leave. This is the new Sesame Street apron. And it's called the Our Friends apron. And I hope you took advantage of it because it was 40% off Sunday and Monday, right? For Cyber Monday. I get all of my modern holidays confused. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday, it all comes so quickly for me. All right. Yeah, this is almost completely evaporated. In go my peppers. In go my tomatillos. And I'm going to add my herbs last. Why would I add my herbs last? Can anybody tell me?
So they don't burn?
Well, that's one thing. They're not really going to burn because there's going to be too many juices in there. But if I put in my herbs, and this is just parsley and cilantro, I'm going to put them in the same container. I'm just going to toss them in right at the end before I puree it. And the reason is, this has all of my vibrant green color. Now, a lot of you are going to say, Andrew Zimmern, you're fucking crazy. Because let me tell you, when you bake this in the oven, you get that beautiful khaki green in there. You don't get vibrant green. Well, here's what I say to you. If I didn't put these in at the last minute, it would be a little bit duller than that, because I've tried, and it actually makes a difference, and I really, really like the difference that it makes. Do we have paper toweling somewhere? Matt, you want to grab those in the other room? Thanks. So this mixture here, right, the peppers and the tomatillos are going to give off, thank you, are going to give off some moisture. I just want to stir it and make sure that I'm not scorching herbs or burning garlic and stuff like that. Make sure that these cut halves have some contact with the cooking surface. They're not going to give off a lot of liquid. They're just going to give off some. I just want to make sure that they cook, because I want them soft before I puree this, right? I want the tomatillos to soften, and it doesn't require a lot. Remember, these have the consistency of an unripe peach or nectarine. So when you add heat to them, they'll get soft and mushy within a couple of minutes. I just want to make sure they're all in contact with the heat source. Yeah, that's going to be beautiful. I wanted this paper towel because there is my charred poblano pepper, right? So some people like rinse this in the sink under cold water, and I freak out, because what you're doing is you're taking all the charred flavor that you work so hard to put on the pepper, and you're making it go down the drain. Very, very bad. What I want you to do is, if you want to work on the drain, that's over the drain, that's fine, because this skin can go down your drain if you have a disposal. You want that beautiful charred flesh underneath there, right? I'm just going to take a little bit more of this away with my hand so you can see that beautiful charred flesh, right? But I will use a wet hand and pull this away, and never let water touch the pepper. Or you can use a paper towel. Paper towel has a little more gription than your fingers do because of the oils that are in your hand. And just by gently massaging with your fingers and the paper towel also holds the peel. You can see here, and I'm not going to spend much longer doing this, but just another minute or so, and I would have this entire pepper cleaned, maybe another 30 seconds or so. And then you have that gorgeous charred pepper with none of the blackened skin. And that's really what we're looking for. And that's what I chopped up and put into my blender. Now, how do you know when this is ready to go into the blender? Well, how about when these pieces start softening? Let me show you. Of course, why do I have to use the smallest spoon in my arsenal? This little quartered piece of tomatillo is now soft and yielding. You can see it started to become glassy and transparent. in its flesh, that shows you that it's almost ready to be cooked, or almost cooked all the way through. All right. So do you think I can tell people sort of why this was such a hectic day? If I don't give it away? Abby says yes. So I just came back from a business trip to Washington, D.C. And I'm in the office for one day because tomorrow I have to do some other stuff and some personal business. And a lot of crazy good things are happening around here on Monday. I just joined Substack, andrewzimmern.substack.com. Is that correct? Go subscribe now. Tell your friends to subscribe. Tell everyone to subscribe. You are going to get my blog, my Greek chorus, me arguing with myself, recipes that will not be found anywhere else. Fans of our website, I didn't want to touch our website. I wanted our website to be exactly what it is, which is why I've never added all those bells and whistles onto it. But I'm doing it on Substack, and I'm really excited about that. So that all starts next week. I think Tuesday is when my first post goes live. But if you go to andrewzimmern.substack.com, you can subscribe right now. And tell all your friends about it, please. I want everyone involved. It really is going to be super cool. Also, a big announcement from a giant global nonprofit that I'm going to start working with as a Goodwill ambassador. And we got this incredible news about some highlights for our line of spices that is being showcased on a big show in the coming weeks as a holiday recommendation. But of course, they called us with this, and we have to submit all these materials and get all this product out to them, and we're gifting some people with it. And so it's just sent everyone here into a tizzy. Crazy day. Oh, I forgot the most important part. All of my green stuff. So you can see I even turned the heat off, which is fine. I just want this to wilt in there so that it's mixed together and so that my machines aren't doing all the work of combining. And we have that gorgeous cooked flavor of the cilantro and the parsley going on in there. And it's just wilting in there off the heat. This skillet carries so much heat. Look at how delicious that looks. And then I am going to put this into my blender. What happens if for some reason your mixture is too dry?
I don't know.
Exactly, Emily. That's why you pay so close attention to the cooking that's going on here. Have your olive oil at the ready. If for some reason, and it shouldn't, because there's so much moisture in those tomatillos, just add a little bit of olive oil. Five, 6 seconds. Nice, hot, chunky puree. If you could smell what I'm smelling, you'd be absolutely going bonkers. But you know what? I'm just gonna put a ribbon of olive oil across that. I'm gonna season this, not with pepper. I don't want that flavor in there. I just want to season this with salt. I'll season my eggs perhaps with a little bit of pepper. Let's clean up our area around here because we're about to get into the next phase of doing things. All right, so how are we going to put our eggs in there?
You're in charge.
Well, yes, that was a rhetorical question. The answer is, I'm going to show you. You know, you have two of these containers around. Who cares if some herbs were in them or something like that? All you do is just make a depression. Just like that. Just with the spoon. Just push some of this sauce to the side. It's sturdy. That's another reason why I didn't want to make soup and keep pureeing it. But just make a depression so that the yolk and the white kind of sits there. And then go on the other side as far away from it as you can and make another depression. And then repeat. Such a delicious dish. And for those of you who have made shakshouka before, this is exactly the same thing. This is just a green shakshouka, which gets its red from tomatoes and red pepper, right? So let me go for a fifth one. Depending on the size of your pan, I'll put 6, 8, and depending on how many of your guests, right?
Do you often have breakfast guests?
That's a very personal question, Abby. The answer, ask me that again.
Do you often have breakfast guests?
If I'm lucky. Yes, to be honest. And why is everybody taking it that way? I think I've had breakfast guests. Well, 2 Saturdays ago, Mike Solomonov was in town. He had done the Synergy series at Gavin Kayson's restaurant, Spoon and Stable, in town. I invited him over for breakfast on Saturday morning. So I made him breakfast. I actually made him an egg. Yeah. What did I had a couple weeks before that, I had my best friend and his wife over for like a brunchy breakfast kind of thing. So yeah, I have people over for breakfast. Oh, let me season this.
Someone says that they like your beard.
Oh, well, it's wild and out of control, but I can now tell people, and this goes in a 400-degree oven, 10, 12 minutes. You want those eggs to cook to your liking. I like the yolks to be a little runny, but some people don't. You want them hard boiled, just let it sit for a while at, you know, a couple minutes longer. Excuse me. So, did I tell you the reason that I had the beard? I grew the beard because of COVID. Then I went out and I shot a show that is going to be on a big streamer in Q1 2022. Coming up very fast, but I can't tell you what it is yet. So then I come home and Magnolia has to have me do a photo shoot. Oh, I was shooting a trailer, some piece of collateral for my family dinner show. But it had to match. They were using footage shot new, but also old. And I didn't have a beard, so I had to shave it. Then the streamer calls back and the production company and says, we're going to shoot a couple more episodes of the show that you shot 6 months ago, but you need to grow the beard back. And I'm like, okay, but I don't remember how long it was. So I know that we're going to have to trim it eventually when I go to shoot that later in December. So that's why that is all going on with my beard. Because right now, my beard is so ridiculously crazy out of control. It's just wavy. I mean, I didn't put my stuff in it and brush it today, but I like it. It's kind of wild. It reminds me of some 19th century, novel. I'm like Heathcliff in whatever that story is by Emily Bronte that I'm blanking on right now. I know that's one of your favorite books,
English
Emily.
major, Emily. What book is it?
I think it's one by Emily Bronte.
It's Wuthering Heights.
It's Wuthering Heights.
I have not read that.
Sorry, what is Wuthering Heights?
I only know the Kate Bush song, I'm sorry.
Oh! All right. Our oil is sizzling. Put in some slices of country ham. You can use whatever you like. I like country ham. You wanna use Taylor ham, otherwise known as pork roll. Delicious. Delicious with this. Oh, you know what I forgot? I was talking to you for so long. I forgot to crumble my feta cheese. If you forget, Matt, do you want to get me another bowl like this? So you just lay a few slices of ham in your bowls, leave it in a nice warm place, get your toast out. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this here in this big one and make a little baby one in this smaller one. And then we'll do our toast in there. Look at how lovely that is. And this is how it's going to look like if you remembered to put your feta in there. If you like, some people put it higher up in the oven and let their eggs broil as well as roast. The only problem if you put it too high up is you can sometimes burn the surface of your egg. Some people like that. With this particular dish, I'm not looking for those fried lacy edges that I love about fried eggs. This is really like a coddled egg situation, if that makes sense to you. That has to cook for another 5 minutes or so at least. So questions, comments, criticisms, let's have them.
Do you ever cook using a smoker?
Mm-hmm. I love smoking. I'm not as obsessed with it as some people are. I have other types of what I call hobbyist cookery. Like some people every weekend have to smoke something on their barbecue. And there's a difference between barbecuing and grilling and doing working with smoke, whether it's hot smoking or cold smoking. We're actually putting that flavor onto the meat or fish or the poultry or the vegetables. I love it, but I'm not one of those people who does that every single weekend. I like to ferment a lot of things. That's more of what my weekend cookery. I should have shown it to you the other week when we were at my house cooking. But I have this little antique Chinese pickle jar that is a miniature. I have several of these because I do a lot of pickling. I have a tiny, like 2-quart miniature version of this that has the water seal where you put the water in, you put the salt and the liquid in here, and you actually ferment your vegetables, make your pickles in there. And so I'll make a 3-day or a 4-day pickled cabbage or pickled hot peppers and then put them away and cook with them the following week. It's super, super fun.
Someone wants to know if you're on TikTok.
I am on TikTok, and Abby is responsible for making the fantastic little TikToks that we put on there.
Yes.
Yes. Some have been super successful. Some have been less successful. We're learning what is good in the marketplace, but like the music video thing is, although I feel one coming on right now.
Oh,
no. What, Abby, why do you act like you're my kid who's just embarrassed by their father? There's a part of it that's going on here right now in your reaction, wasn't there? Yeah.
No,
I got a couple words for you, though. Are you ready?
What?
I'm high post. I'm higher than most. I'm not from France, but I love French toast.
That wasn't that bad.
Not bad.
Honestly.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What are you drinking?
Oh, this is something that someone sent me. It's called Curious #1. It is a 0% alcohol, booze-free craft cocktail from a company called Curious Elixirs. Their motto, shaken, not slurred. I know. And what I like about it is that it's dry and botanical. Extracts of lemon peel, orange, pomegranate, orange juice, cardamom, and fennel with notes of, well, I can't read it. Celery.
All right.
But it's refreshing. I've had the craziest, busiest day. So I'm just excited that it only has 4 or 5 more hours left in it of work. I know. It's terrible. Don't feel bad for me, America. It's okay. But today was just a tough day. I'm glad we're cooking and we're done with all the meetings. Well, I can tell you that this, oh, almost. I touched the egg yolks. It's simmering. The sauce is simmering. I touched the egg yolks. They're exactly the way I want them. But then I jiggled it, and the whites moved a little more than I would like them to. So that lets me know, keep an eye on it. I'm 60 seconds away, 90 seconds away, because in the thermal momentum world, once you get those eggs up to 100-ish degrees, it takes 7 minutes. But then it only takes like another 90 seconds for them to cook all the way through. So you just want to really keep your eye on that. Literally.
We get this question all the time. Do you prefer cooking with gas or electric?
Gas. But here's the thing with electric that it really kind of bugs me. So everyone is sitting there like, this is induction, but let's say it's electric. And they're like, oh my God, I can't slow my burner down. Yes, you can. Just take the pan off of it. I can't tell you how many houses I'm in with friends. I've been to a friend's house and they're cooking. I watch them and I don't try to say anything because I don't want to be that guy. But I'm like, yeah, just move the pan. The electric range of my grandmother's era in the 60s did not respond well to touch technology. This, the modern equipment, electric or induction, responds incredibly to touch technology. So you can actually hit a button, but if you're not used to that, something's burning, just take it off. I also encourage people to keep, at home, I keep squeeze bottles with room temperature water on. So you can just like throw some water into something. Stops it from cooking or burning right away. All right. This is perfect. And just let it sit. Let it sit at, you're in a cast iron skillet. It's going to hold the heat. I just want to show you, when I shook it, I have just a little bit of jiggle in the whites. But you can see that, well, this middle one is the only one that's a little loose. This one is just tightened up. The yolks still have a little bit of softness in it. They're cooked, I'm sure, in dead center. They have a little bit of jamminess to them. You're going to want a jammy egg. Otherwise, you just put the sauce, fry an egg, and put it on top, right? That's not what we're making. We're making a cooked dish where the eggs are flavored. Do I have a giant spoon? Sure. I'm going to put this right on top there. The sauce, of course, is what brings all the folks to the yard. And now we have this one for you guys. Just put a little more sauce in there. So why do you like a lot of sauce? Well, the sauce is just herby and delicious, and you're going to eat this dish with a spoon. Because yes, it cuts through the ham, no problem. Where did my little, there it is. We just want to finish this dish with a little bit of salt. I have my toast here. We'll make fingers at an angle, right? And mix and match those. So we have some really nice toast fingers for you, because we don't want to like overwhelm ourselves. But I have a lot more toast if you're a toast freak. Also, why am I grabbing the largest towel in the kitchen for this? Anyway, there you have it. Green eggs and ham. It's really just a fabulous way to utilize a shakshouka idea. Put a little drip of olive oil across that. We have a grind of pepper on there. You want to season with another little touch of za'atar. By all means, go ahead, because the cooked za'atar tastes different than the uncooked za'atar. And let's see how this all has worked. Oh, well, this is I'm going to show you something here. See if I can scoop it up. That's the definition of a perfectly jammy egg. So it's going to have all of the flavor of that runniness without the physical runniness, right? Wow. It's so fresh and green and vegetal. And potatoes, sorry, not potatoes, tomatoes, which are traditionally used in shakshouka, have a lot more acidity than tomatillos. So there's actually a milder acidic component to this. That wine, just that little note in there supports everything. The za'atar is perfect. Those poblano chilies really add a smokiness to this because of the way they were cooked. I'm going to demolish this whole thing. One more question.
Where do you get those handles for your cast iron?
Oh gosh, you can just go online and just order them up at Amazon. Go to Lodge. I mean, these are Lodge cast irons. Nowadays, when you buy, here's the thing. Does anyone buy a new cast iron pan? I haven't bought a new cast iron pan in 20 years because I'd rather get an old seasoned one that was in, you know, my mom's house. You know, I mean, I inherited all of my cast iron stuff. But nowadays, when you buy a cast iron pan from Lodge, a new one, and we had to for a show that I'm doing in Q1 2021 called Wild Game Kitchen. All the Lodge pans come with this oven-proof holder so that people don't walk by and go, oh, why do you have this here? And grab it and go, and get stuck on there. And so we have that. They're the international sign that this pan is hot, right? That's why I have it. One more question while I have another bite.
What is your favorite thing to eat with latkes for Hanukkah?
My favorite thing to eat with latkes? I love variety. So Sunday night when I was cooking, I put smoked salmon and sour cream out on the table, dill and scallions. If I have leftovers, I put the brisket or the roast beef or the roast chicken or whatever it is on top of them and gravy. But I've eaten 14 latkes since Sunday, and I think of the 14, 13 of them have been smothered with applesauce and sour cream, which I think is the best latke topping that there is. However, last night when I got home from the airport, it was late. I took 2 small latkes, put them in the oven, reheated them, they re-crisped. I let them cool just for a second. I put the last couple tablespoons of chopped liver on them and had a chopped liver latke sandwich that was pretty much heaven. But I've been traveling all day and I hadn't eaten dinner, so I think if there had been an old shoe in the refrigerator, it would have been delicious as well. Thank you to my sponsors, the wonderful folks at Shoon Cutlery and at Florida Cognac Rum. They're absolutely fantastic. Please, please, please remember, join us at andrewzimmern.substack.com. It's really cool. It's going to be awesome. You're going to want to be a part of it. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, be kind to each other. Have a great rest of your day.